Hi, Warriors. How's everyone doing today? Everyone hear me? How you doing, Ingmar? Hey, you got me, guys?
Yeah, loud and clear, mate.
All
Hey,
right, thank you.
hey
Good
guys.
morning. Oh, Grega's here too. All right, we're going to have a great session. AJ, how are you? Linda, Brand, James Groom, Hugo. Good morning, Ingmar. How are you? A pretty quiet session that we have going on so far. Peace deal in the Middle East. Dollar a little bit better. Euro's holding up better than cable. So let's get to it. So the big news overnight was a peace deal um, with Hamas, and silver's only up $1. Anyway, uh, let's talk about what's going on here. Why don't I start with Ryan because I know Ryan, you have to make something with Ninja Trader today, right?
No, that's tomorrow.
Okay, all
Got me
right,
all day.
all right. See you later, man. All right. Anyway, so Euro, we have this breakdown at 1650. It checked it, textbook. Cable's actually sitting on this horizontal support line. If you just looked at it, it could have the look of a descending triangle, could have the look of a head and shoulders, and a breakdown from here is going to take it towards the 130 handle. Is the way it looks to me. Why don't we start with the end, Brian? You're still long this puppy, right?
Yep, sure am, boss.
Okay, man. So you have targets above this. It's struggling. I had this line in here for, I don't know, about a month. So I was waiting for it. Do you think what would be, give me a narrative how, after what happened over the weekend, the end could, that this might be it, that it was just kind of like people were wrong-footed, surprise news,
Yeah.
huge move to the upside. What could unwind it?
What could unwind it? The Bank of Japan coming out with a hike in
Okay.
October, near the end of the month, and saying that politics doesn't matter. The data is getting good enough to continue hiking. That could unwind it. The new prime minister not being as fiscally dovish, not pulling out any big bazookas. That could unwind it as well. But there is a bit of dollar strength in there as well, so it's not all about the yen.
Okay.
But at the moment, there's a bit of risk that it carries on going higher. This pair anyway, yen pairs
Okay.
in general, because they keep kicking the can of when let's call it her inauguration happens. It was going to be on the 15th of October, then the 17th, now the 20th. Now it might be later in the month, which does suggest that there is some issues getting together sort of coalition partners. And, that puts a bit of pressure on her passing a supplementary budget by the end of the month as well. So there might be a little bit of a squeeze on the clock, which could see yen pairs pushing up a bit higher.
Okay. I wanted to ask you that during this dollar rally, and to me, it looks like we have a breakout here. I mean, it's taken out. I think Grega has the same line here. It looks like we're breaking out to the upside. Um, what is the reason for buoyancy in Aussie and lack of follow through to the upside with Canada during this last bout of dollar strength?
Yeah, that is a question indeed. I think you've got different boxes. You've got different currencies in different boxes. So you've got the Aussie dollar, which is obviously heavily correlated to gold. That's moon shooting. So that's good for Aussie miners. Good for the currency as well. You've obviously got the pull of what's going on with Aussie yen going higher, so that's good. Dollar CAD, that's in another box. That's probably in a box with dollar MEX because we're getting into the USMCA stuff. Look at that. It's the same picture in there to dollar CAD. Just
Yeah.
been going sideways for the last 2 weeks even while the dollar's been moving elsewhere. We're stuck in this 1820, 1850 range.
Looks like it wants new lows. You know, someone asked me a question on a video I did, and he said that, you know, the dollar pairs look much different than emerging dollar against, you know, the conventional pairs look so much different than the emerging market currencies. Um, what is the reason for that?
Um,
And do you agree that they look different? I mean, you know,
yeah,
this looks different.
yeah. I mean that looks different. But again, it looks different to dollar CAD. You know, they're in the same boat. Dollar CAD's up on its highs, dollar MEX is on its lows.
Yeah.
And they're both facing the same USMCA negotiation and trade stuff
Okay.
going on. But it's two completely different pictures. Obviously, you've got some rate divergence trade in there as well. You know, it's still a good carry, dollar MEX. And you get, as I say, you get these boxes sometimes where not everything is a solid dollar move in everything. You get these exceptions, and the same goes for EMs. You know, you get that exception. What's going on in Asia? You know, our economy is doing better over there. So yeah, you've got to know what winds are blowing at what time. But it just shows you that not everything is the dollar's doing this and the dollar's doing that.
Yeah, it's not universal move. There's
Yeah,
different stuff going on. I was looking for the rand, or the real. Um, they look the same. Like they still have
there you go.
pretty.
3 down from dollar mix on your list.
Okay. All right. All right. Ryan, anything else? I'm going to come back to you. I'll get Greg in here and I'll come back to you. It's us and Steve. So,
Yeah, sure.
anything else you want to point out that is
Well, you were just
important to you?
highlighting euro dollar there. I think we might be on for a little bit of a break. We're not bouncing very much.
No.
We keep coming back to that 1600 level.
Yeah.
So I think if that pressure remains, we might see a little bit of a through. 115.70s is what I'm looking at as the next level under that, just
Yeah.
on the short term.
Looks like it wants this. I mean, a measure, if this is a breakdown here and you just measure 1917 to here and we're breaking down, looks like it would want this 114 ish, 14 and a half level.
Yeah, well,
Uh,
that 115 is going to be standing in its way first. Me and Stel
yeah,
were talking about that one on the flow
yeah,
show this morning. I got a
yeah.
little visit from my old mate.
From Stell?
Yeah,
Oh, okay, yeah. All right. Thanks, Ryan.
cheers,
Thank you,
mate.
buddy. All right, so I'm surrendering the charts to you, Grega. Thanks for dropping in and backing up the team. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
sure. Mm,
So you want to start with what you were talking about last week? You feel the same about yields that you did last week that were headed lower in yields?
uh, Basically, we are still, can you see the screen? Yes.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah, we are still testing this trend line. Basically, we are not going anywhere here. So I'm just guessing what could happen next. What is my concern? If you just maybe try to ignore the labels here, we are basically still stuck in the middle of these summer ranges, right? So
Hmm.
we are basically going nowhere and saying that or confirming here that we are already completing this bear trend and turning bullish. It's still a bit too soon for me. I think that we have plenty of gaps that are still opened here from this week. If you look closely on dollar index, we still have this gap from this Sunday open down here. So I'm very careful up here. We certainly could see some new reversals going into the end of this week. So I'm not fully convinced that we just really completed this ending diagonal, that I still think it could unfold to a bit lower prices. Of course, as I said already last time, what's maybe the most important right now is that we still have this free wave rise from that lows, right? And that's the gap right here. We also have on a smaller scale these 5 waves up right now into this 99.20 resistance, where wave C equals to the first wave A, and usually that's a very interesting spot. Also, if you look at the euro, I'm pretty sure that you can recognize very nasty price action. It's still a downtrend intraday weakness, but those overlaps, it's not really something that I would confidently call a top with this kind of a price action. And with US government still being in shutdown, it's only maybe the euro and Japanese yen weakness that are causing these current dollar moves. But if you look maybe on some other like commodity currencies, Aussie is still holding pretty well here. It's even trying to make this higher low. Maybe we are still stuck in this triangle, but my idea is that we will see a break here above this 66.28. Even head and shoulders formation here is still valid, that I also discussed last week. So I'm looking for a push higher on commodity currencies. I think you had there dollar Mexican peso earlier. It's sideways. Again, another currency pair that shows that we are still most likely just consolidating here, and that one more push to the downside here is in the cards. Now, regarding dollar yen, I think that maybe we shall watch this 78.6% of the previous decline. Up there, we also have this equal legs as well for this recovery with a massive gap. Of course, not only on dollar yen, but on all of the yen crosses that at some point, especially in spot market, will get filled, my opinion, but not sure what can trigger the reversals. Who knows, maybe there could be some kind of a risk off that would maybe take place going in to the final months of this year, and we will see these reversals on yen pairs as well. So if we take a look maybe on the S&P, here we are just keep moving higher. We are now still maybe chasing new highs here for a wave 5. But whenever we get some sell-off, there could be some fear. But of course, I would be looking for just to be another deeper wave 4 before market maybe will try to stabilize. If we see some kind of a sell-off going into the end of this year on stocks, any pullbacks, of course, would be very healthy. But I think that this could be still could keep metals in a very strong uptrend. I mean, if we take a look, because everyone is just wondering when gold and silver could step into the correction. Well, silver, I think that's a pretty big level up here, around $49 to $50. We are just not sure it was already printed or no, new all-time high. So I think that maybe there will be, again, period that we will see some consolidation going on. But whenever we see some pullbacks here, I just think it's a very clear uptrend here that we should follow. But of course, just be aware of some retracement. And the reason why I think that on a longer term, gold and silver will still see more upside is, I think I shared this one in the past as well, that's dollar Chinese yuan versus gold. And you can see that with the recent high here on dollar Chinese yuan, gold just exploded to the upside. And I still see plenty of room for more weakness here on dollar Chinese yuan. So if we see some rally first, of course, this could maybe cause some slowdown on metals, but overall, I just think that after retracement, there should be more gains coming. Also, maybe on a gold-silver ratio, I think you covered this one yesterday. I believe you talked about it. So on gold-silver ratio, maybe watch this trend line. It goes back to 2021, connected with 2024 lows. And if gold-silver ratio will maybe try to complete this first 5 waves down here, and we will start recovering, maybe that could trigger some kind of a pullback on metals, as I said, but this will be just temporary. So it's of course not easy to chase the markets up here when looking at gold and silver. What's maybe the most important is just whenever we get some solid retracement I mean, 7-10% of a pullback is definitely something that could easily happen on silver, but even this kind of a drop needs to be as a way for within uptrend here on silver as well. Maybe it's worth to mention German DAX. It just broke to new all-time highs. It was some kind of a rotation from when the US government went into shutdown. That's when basically German DAX finally found new buyers. Before that, despite S&P 500 trading higher, it was just consolidating. So not sure what really triggered this kind of a move here. It was certainly just a matter of time, since this was quite a nice pullback from the July highs, and I still think that there is room to pass this 25,000 after any kind of a pullback. I would be watching maybe on a cash market here. We had this gap and we have now 5 waves up. So if we see some solid 3-wave retracement, I just think that that would be a new interesting support before maybe we can attack 25K here.
Okay, how about Bitcoin, Grega? We got to 25, and then we had a 3 drive that took it down pretty hard the day before yesterday, and it's fighting its way back. What are you thinking here?
I mean, cryptocurrencies are definitely bullish. I mean, here we have the crypto total market cap. We recently broke here above this trend line. We're just trying to retest it right now. So I assume there could be another push to the upside here. But since we are in a 5th wave, I mean, there will be some maybe alt season, some altcoins could do very well. I see some interesting developments and bullish setup on the Ethereum, which is also here. So we just recently came out of this corrective channel. We are now pulling back, but the previous drop was in 3 waves. So I'm looking for more upside here, but keep in mind that as we go here towards the end of the year, October has been known as a very good for cryptocurrencies, but still keep in mind that October here is the final month of the 35-month cycle. So in the past, that was from 2015, and before that, by the way, we have seen 12 months of a pullback, meaning 13 months, meaning approximately 1 year. Then we have seen a 3-year bull run, then another 1 year of a retracement, because that's a monthly chart, 12 bars. So another year of a retracement and another 35-month rally, another 1 year of retracement, and now we are just in October, exactly the final month of this potential bull run. It's still yet to be discovered how far can this maybe move to the upside extent. Usually this reversal, significant tops, showed up when we have seen some serious buying, like FOMO effect, and then market reverse. So we are not seeing this kind of activity at this current levels. That's why I'm saying that maybe there is going to be another push to the upside, but we may have to be very selective, and maybe the Ethereum is something that could really maybe make this final push to the upside. Yes, could outperform the Bitcoin, and then when the music stops, especially, it will probably be stopped when the stock market would see some serious retracement there. I just don't believe that stocks would see a retracement or any kind of a deep correction maybe in 2026, and cryptos will be the most sensitive, I mean, to this kind of a moves, I guess.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know a guy who's I think is, maybe you know who he is, Astro Crypto Guru, is quite a following, and he was looking for a high in Bitcoin in November. That's when his cycle
I mean,
was too.
of course, we cannot say for sure where the market will complete this cycle. As you know, what system and cycles works, usually they stop working at some point. So we definitely have to consider that maybe this will even extend into the November or December. But certainly, it's not the place where you want to look for some kind of a longer term opportunities. I just think that you have to be mostly maybe waiting on a cash and waiting on new opportunities whenever they show up.
Do you show a ending diagonal developing in SPX in the S&Ps, or if we had one more dip, had a dip and then one more high, we'd have an ending diagonal?
You mean on a smaller time frame?
No, daily.
Okay, daily. You mean this kind of a part, this final?
Yeah, okay, so USL 3 a little further out, we could have a dip and one more high, like 6,800 or so.
Yeah, I mean, there is certainly possible that after a very nice dip, I think that nice support would be anywhere around 6,570 down to 6,400, and then we could maybe even see a push towards 7K.
Okay.
But it's,
All
I
right.
mean, calling an ending diagonal here, I've been looking for some kind of these patterns already back, but it's, I mean, these things that just keeps moving higher. So unless we see some very strong sell-off, it's very hard to confirm any kind of reversals here.
Okay, buddy. Anything else you wanted to cover?
Maybe crude oil.
Okay.
That's more, I mean, I would expect that we would see much more, maybe some of you as well, much more sell-off
Weaker.
here.
Yeah.
Since we got this news in the last 24 hours. But at least we stopped at this resistance. So maybe there's another push lower. We know the Trump administration, everyone just aims for lower energy prices.
Yeah.
But I doubt that there would be any kind of a real or strong breakdown. I think that there's a massive support around $58, $59 per barrel. But that's, if we're going down there, that's maybe now the perfect spot for a new sell-off. I mean, based on the catalyst that we have behind, certainly maybe we could consider that reversal down will show up.
Okay. Do you do nat gas?
Natural gas, yes, I have.
Does that look bearish too? It has a little different look.
Let me just find it real quick here. I think it should be somewhere here. Let me just check.
Okay. They had to get over 58. Okay.
No, I think that they are not updated like it
Okay.
should be. Okay, but at least we have these massive free waves down here from
Yeah.
that highs back in March. We are trying to break this trend line resistance, but not really that convincing. But if we can pass maybe to one more swing high here to call this as a potential third leg to the upside. So, but overall,
Okay.
I mean, this certainly looks like a counter trend movement. But you
Okay.
know how the natural gas moves ups and
Yeah.
downs, big volatility. So
Yeah.
would not be
Yeah.
surprised if we see some limited upside around 4 if we get there.
Okay. So we appreciate you coming in the community, and I do to help back us up today, Grega. And anything else?
No, basically that's it. What I had on my list
All
for
right.
today session.
All
So
right.
I will
So
be
this
also I will be
yeah,
making the week ahead video because Blake is away. So if someone wants to check the fresh updates that I will share them with the community this weekend, then
okay. All right. So a great team player, Grega Horvat, everybody. Thanks very much, Grega, for coming in. And Grega's analysis is updated every time he updates it on the website. He gives short-term looks, 4-hour looks, daily looks, and macro monthly looks too. So if you're ever curious about what Greg is doing, he also has his own, okay, where you could have Grega. He has had his own website and business for years now. I remember interviewing Grega when he won awards on F.A.C.E Street. And if you sign up with us, you get Grega plus, the rest of the crew. Anyway, thank you, Grega. Respect your work. These currencies have, been a little tricky.
yeah.
Couple of flips, which I don't normally see you doing, and you're hanging on to the bear case by your fingernails right now,
Yeah, I
right?
mean the problem is that if dollar is really closer to potential lows here and we'll see a new turning cycle here, that tops and bottoms, this is always a longer process rather than just one time of event. So that's why we are in this kind of a tricky situation here, especially with the US government shutdown, with unclear stage of what Fed will do next with rates, even if everyone expects cuts. I mean, Powell is not that convincing either. So I think that we will get some more confidence and confirmations about what's coming next month.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot. Thanks, Grega.
Thanks, mate.
All right. So, Ryan, I guess I'll take the screen. I have an interview in about 5 minutes. I will just check, see if Thomas is here. Pretty interesting interview. I don't see him. Well, okay.
I can keep an eye out, but have a look at silver while you're there.
Yeah, it's just hit 50, right?
Just yes, 50.01.
Yeah, I have 2 charts up there. It's never happened before. All right, there we go. All right, so silver. Anyone have a champagne bottle? Pop the
Stel has.
Pop the cork.
Wow. People are also asking about Powell at the bottom of the hour. He's doing welcome remarks at a community banking conference. Okay, that's not usually something where he's going to drop any monetary policy bombs. We'll keep an eye on it anyway. But
what's he doing? Looking for his next job? Gonna, serve,
yeah, he's going to
serve donuts.
Yeah, he's going to be the meet and greeter at the door. Security guard.
Brian, we all end up being security. Anyway, all right. So there it is, $50 silver. May as well break out the monthly. I did talk to Goodburn. He came up with a $53 target and a 42.60 target in gold. So there's more left, according to Peter. So we'll see. I don't know. I just look at this euro, and I don't know if things have really changed as far as sentiment or positioning. I don't know if this has been enough. But there's this guy, his name's Shapiro. He was in the Market Wizards, and he came up with a COT number that showed really off-balance spec longs, record net longs in euro. And, we've all heard about the 20-year bearish sentiment readings from banks and everything on the dollar. And all you hear is the fastest decline ever, or at least in 10 years. And I'm not a dollar bull, but 102 is just corrective. And I think that's what we need to shake out a lot of this dollar bearishness, and then it could go to 90.
I mean, since you mentioned sentiment positioning, the COT data is, I believe, it's not updated now when the US government.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so we may get quite interesting numbers whenever they are back to business.
You mean by Christmas?
If you're lucky.
Well,
Christmas is cancelled, Dale. As is Thanksgiving. It's all cancelled, mate. You're going to have to make do with something else.
Well, Santa is having a hard time finding coal to put in your stocking, right?
He won't be able to fly over because all the air traffic controllers are out of work. So.
That is starting to get serious. It's slowing things down. So it's been what, a week, 8-9 days. I mean, they're not any closer. I think that the president is welcoming this.
Well, they keep trying every day, don't they? Every day there's a vote for this, a vote for that. And they can't do it. It's going to drag on.
I think it's going to take a market sell-off to get their attention, because then constituents whose 401ks are down 10-15%, they pick up the phone. I've seen it a million times. So there's nothing like the market going down to get politicians to act. And I think until there's that, it shows up on Wall Street that maybe nothing happens. So
Yeah.
anyway, let me see if my guest is here.
Yeah. While you're looking, there's nothing from Powell in those opening remarks. He doesn't mention anything on monetary
Did it?
policy or the economy.
But I heard that he sold a few CDs while he was there. He got some people to lock in rates before they had their coffee and donuts.
Yeah. Was he
So
doing cover
anyway,
songs? He
I
likes a
want
concert, doesn't he?
he does, and you know what? I want to really thank you guys. I mean it, for hanging out, making this a decent session with not a lot to talk about, but well, there's plenty to talk about. There's also a lot of uncertainty everywhere, but I just, you know, think the dollar's acting okay. I'll give you a radical target, 112 in euro or lower.
Ooh. Well, there's a big fib at 112.50 Dow.
Okay.
38.2 of the year's rally.
All right, there's a
We'll split the
confirmation. When
difference.
I throw out a number and someone has confluence there, it's important to me.
We'll call it 112.25 and then we're both happy.
Okay. All right. So Thomas, I saw you. Where'd you go?
Sorry,
I
There he
promoted him.
is.
no,
He's
there,
there. I
there was
promoted
some,
him.
Oh, there you are, buddy.
there was some hiccup in your system, I guess, or in the
Uh,
Zoom. So yeah,
I don't know. Maybe it's ICE is listening to us. May want to deport me. So
where are you come? Where have you come from then?
Skokie, Illinois.
Okay, yeah, well, that's it.
I'm
That's a
I'm
foreign country. Yes.
I'm natural. Chicago, Illinois, where if I was born in the next week or so, I'd be greeted by National Guard troops.
Okay.
So anyway, there weren't any there when I was there. The thing that people were most worried about was could the Cubs win half of their games next season? And when will the Bears find a quarterback?
And
And
prohibition.
yeah, and Mayor Daley had a pretty good grip on the city, and it was great. But anyway, Chicago's a good place to be from.
Okay.
The weather's lousy. All right,
Okay.
Thomas.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the winters are
I've
intense.
been in Chicago once in when we drove the Route 66. It was 2010 in the summer.
Yeah.
It was we had a very Batman style greeting to the city. There was a thunderstorm, and we were
Okay.
sitting on some restaurant right next to the river, and
Okay.
then
Yeah.
the tornado sirens came on, and we were like, "What?"
Yeah.
And then the waitress stopped right next to our table, and she was like, "Wait, are those tornado sirens?" And we were like, "Where should we go somewhere?" Then she explained that the tube cannot turn to the ground when there are skyscrapers present. She thought so,
Yeah.
but it was a very epic thing. We were two
Yeah.
nights there. Yeah.
God, I love tornado warnings. I'd jump in my convertible and I would put the windows up and the heat on and put in Riders on the Storm by the Doors.
Yeah.
So that was, my teenage years. So,
Okay.
all right, Thomas. So I've been reading you. Let's first talk about the peace agreement with Hamas and Israel. Will it hold?
Yeah. Well, this is something I haven't analyzed through yet, but the thing is that I think it's obvious now that there is this greater Israel project in the going on in the Netanyahu administration. I think like that's the aim, and if that holds, then well, Gaza is part of that, the greater Israel. So I don't. I'm sure they try, but if they get that, well, maybe they or they have a second go with Iran then. I don't know, but
That's what I thought you were going to say that.
yeah.
All right, so they stabilize one area where they don't have to pay attention and have as much of their military assets there for because I know you've been writing about that too. You think the possibility, and I've been reading from different sources that the probability looks pretty high,
Yeah.
and that it's not far away. A lot of people think that it'll happen before year end.
Probably, yeah. The Iranian accounts that I follow have been saying that the second round can start basically at any minute since I think from August or something, since August maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that's But the thing is now that both Israel and Iran are still weak from the previous matchup. So and Iran, I read somewhere, or there's actually one very good account in X. I forgot her name, but anyway, she explained, a geopolitical analyst. She explained that there is a drought in Iran now, which is the worst water crisis for I don't know several hundred years or something. And so there's also that, and the strikes of Mossad and Israeli Defense Force on the leadership and infrastructure of Iran. They have crippled the country somewhat. But on the other hand, there is they have this massive missile capacity, and what I hear is they have now started to work or try to manufacture a lot more of these mobile launchers. And I don't know. And Israel is still like what's the port? I forgot the name, but it's
Haifa.
Yeah, it's still damaged from the Iranian strikes, I hear.
Yeah.
And I don't know, do they have enough missiles? Missile interceptors for I don't know. But the interesting point here is now that it was like about 3 days ago, I think. I don't know, did you know this? But the Iranian military channels posted a photo of the commander, which name I don't recall now, checking the troops and the headquarters who operate near the Strait of Hormuz.
Okay.
And me and several other analysts are now saying that this was a signal to the US that if when the second go comes, Strait of Hormuz is not out of it's not untouchable anymore. And there Iran has several ways to close it. But I think we talked about this already before, but now it seems to be in play. And let's remember that 1/3 of all the oil, or 1/3 of all the gas, and 1/6 of all the oil consumed in the world comes through that strait. You cripple that, you stop the oil and gas tankers coming through, and you have an energy crisis of epic proportions.
Are you buying oil and spec?
No, I have just been buying gold for now.
I know you got back in good.
Yeah.
About $800 ago.
Yeah, 1,000.
Okay, nice.
Yeah,
all
but
right.
anyway, yeah, it's better late than never. But yeah, so I'm not buying oil at the moment yet because it's there's a play now because the global economic cycle, business cycle is clearly slowing down. So it will push down the price of oil. So and before something starts in the Middle East, oil can go down a lot still. Not necessarily, but it can.
Yeah, we can maybe get to the 50s.
Yeah, even yeah. If recession comes, it may go even the 30s. But basically that would be a depression. But it's interesting that
But if it's a supply shock, it won't matter if we're in a depression, oil will go up.
Yeah.
And they hit that's been a potential nightmare for 40 years. People have talked about blocking the Straits of Hormuz.
Yeah,
And
yeah, but
you know, and everyone, most people said they'll never do it. It would hurt them.
Yeah.
What about them using some of their missiles to hit countries like Saudi Arabia to affect oil
possible, but
supply?
at this point, why they would not? But I have to say one more thing about the Strait is that the Iranian leadership may now feel that they would become under existential threat if a second go comes. So if you feel that you have nothing to lose, you will resort to all means possible, and they cannot strike Israel so hard that it would destroy the nation, because Israel would retaliate with tactical nuclear weapons. And this is why the Strait of Hormuz is in play now.
Okay.
In the second
Right.
go. I'm not saying that they will do it, but it's in play in different ways than it was before. But what were you?
You know, desperation causes desperate acts.
Yeah.
And when you talk existential, it doesn't get any more desperate than that.
Yeah.
All right, let's shift gears because you know I've been hearing things, you know, guys that are pretty good that I follow that are saying kind of what you've been talking about for a long time, that Europe wants to expand this war with Russia, that the reason the dollar, gold, and stocks are going up is that the wealthy are fleeing Europe.
Yeah.
And Europe needs a war because if you know, you think the United States has economic problems, they're much worse in Europe.
Yeah.
And so you think that um, they just, whatever is happening, they think that maybe they could take on Russia and win and end up with their resources.
Yeah. They may think that. I just the thing is here now that I think for the current European leaders, the plan may be much more short run, because if you take away the threat of Russia, the imaginable threat, then you have only the economic stagnation, which is turning into actual depression probably soon, recessions and then depression. We have, like in Finland, we have our unemployment rate seasonally adjusted is now over 10%. We haven't honestly seen such figures since early 1990s, and it's getting worse everywhere in Europe. Like in 2022, I think it was September or something, we warned on the deindustrialization of Europe, and well, at least I got a laugh about it, but I don't think anyone is not laughing now. It's happening everywhere. Like the industry closures in Germany are just massive, just unbelievably big. So it's just I don't. So yeah, it's I think at the current level they are at the current time it's more about creating this threat to survive. Do not look here. But the longer
Okay.
play, but the longer play is probably something more sinister in a ways which you describe. So, like when I was in a conference in Cambridge about 2 months ago, it was a very close-knit conference, and it was partly called together just to hear from the neocons that what they are thinking, and there were two of them, and basically they stated in the discussions that first they want Russia to be broken up, and second, there is no plan to end the war. So
Right.
yeah, so the longer game I think is that they are really going to try to take up Russia and then just continue the war endlessly. I don't. This was a massive conspiracy theory, you know, a year ago, 2 to 3 years ago, but now it looks to be I don't know. There is something in it, you know, did you read my yesterday's piece?
Yeah,
Do you see what I'm sharing? Do you see
yeah,
the
yeah.
Trump? Yeah, this is the 2017 Super Bowl interview of President Trump.
All right, did you want the screen? Because you're
Yeah.
not sharing. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, okay, I'll do again.
All right.
So yeah,
I think oil would go to 200, Saloom, if they block the straits. At least 150.
it would no. I think yeah, of course, it would go very very high, and you have to remember that most of the gas Europe uses during the winter comes from that territory. So Europe would freeze. Honestly, there would not be enough gas here.
Yeah.
So it's a very dangerous situation. But this is are you seeing now? This is my
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the 2017 Super Bowl interview of President Trump.
Yeah.
You think our country is so innocent? He's basically defending Putin and saying that US has done horrible things. And what is your president doing now? He's planning a regime change in Venezuela and in Iran. So what has happened?
His handlers.
Someone, I think someone has gotten into him. The deep state, maybe, I don't know. But it's not, you know, it's everything has, see, he has had 6 months to bring peace to Ukraine. And basically, the two things you would need to have done is that first, to stop all military aid, basically forcing the AFU to start, forcing the
To surrender.
Yeah, basically to capitulate. So the Zelensky would have been forced to capitulate, and then you announce that the Zelensky will be leaving his position and someone else will take his place. These are the two things that would need to have happened. But he has refused to do those things. And if he has plans for regime change in Venezuela and Iran, why not in Ukraine? The questions I am asking, that is war in Ukraine decided above the pay grade of the President of the United States? This is the question I posed in my entry. Who is controlling President Trump? Because I think that's the only logical explanation we have left anymore. And then we have
because he really wasn't close with European leaders, especially the first term. This term, as long as long as they're buying weapons, it's a good deal.
Yeah.
He's not talking about putting boots on the ground like Europe is. Europe's talking. In fact, they probably already have boots on the ground in Ukraine, helping the Ukrainians with the equipment that's being sent to them, right?
Yeah.
How does Poland fit into this?
Well, Poland is now rolling back in a way, in a sense that the president they elected, and they have started to roll back the criticism towards Russia. There is this kind of peace movement I hear going on with the ordinary people saying that we don't want a war against Russia. They have had several world wars against Russia, so they don't want another. So Poland is rolling back here, and so basically it leaves only the Baltics and the Finland and Finland if they're going to continue the war in Ukraine. And that just 2 days ago, I heard from the Russian sources that the AFU is retreating all through the front line. And today it was confirmed somewhere that this is really happening. So I don't know. Yeah, President Trump has said that very recently that the peace in Ukraine is really close. I don't know what he means, but these are
Well, we know we're near the end game when Russia comes back in and tries to take Odessa.
Probably.
I mean, those are the ports, right? I mean, they were took some hits.
Yeah.
But for them to show that they could control that and control the shipping, that would be a pretty important choke point for them to control.
But if that comes, I think then the aim is to completely crush Ukraine. And Yeah, I don't think the Kremlin thinks that way yet. I think they are looking something kind of middle solution between what President Trump has been proposing and what they are demanding. But other thing is that just earlier today I saw a video from the Ukrainian border stating that there's a mass exile of Ukrainians from the country because there can be no heat or water during the winter. So I think in a way, if President Trump doesn't make a quick 180, I think the Ukraine is already lost, most unfortunately. But
what those people have gone through.
yeah, horrible. And like there has been no point of continuing this war after May 22.
Well, maybe Trump had a change of heart because Putin wasn't cooperating with him to do a deal. And people become with the president, you could be his ally and then his enemy and then his ally again. It's kind of like, dysfunctional relationship. I love you, I hate you, I love you, I hate you. Maybe that's part of it because he set himself up for being able to settle this thing in short order. And here we are, people still dying there.
Yeah, but the things Trump can do is stop shipping weapons to Ukraine and enact a regime change, remove Zelensky and take the arrest the former advisor of Zelensky, for example, who has said just recently in an interview that if he would be selected as a president of Ukraine, the first thing he would do is take a plane and fly to Moscow to negotiate on their terms. That's how it goes. Like that's when you're losing, the negotiation come with the terms of the one party that is winning. That's how we established our peace in 40 and 44.
Right.
You have to when you have lost, you have lost.
Yeah.
But Trump could. Yeah, these are the two things.
But the settlements are very important because if you go back to World War I and the settlement with Germany actually spawned the seeds. People knew after that what was it, Treaty of Versailles that we'd have another war within a generation. They knew it.
They knew it, yeah. But it was very bad. But the thing is now that they were like major powers, Germany and France and Great Britain and all those. And now we're just talking about Ukraine. And if like I said, there's no point of this war continuing after the May 22, because Russia had the land bridge to Crimea already then, and everything could have been settled then. But we know that this did not come to pass because of Boris Johnson, the former PM of Great Britain, and the ambassador of President Biden, basically said to Zelensky that no, you are not going to make peace. We're going to continue fighting because we want to weaken Russia.
Here's a good question for you from Adi. What do you think is the end game for Putin with China and India? More importantly, where do you see BRICS in the long run?
Well, if the current policies of President Trump continue, the BRICS will grow stronger. That's for sure. Putin is a reactive strategist, so he has a longer term plan, which concerns mostly Russia, and how he.
Lost you. Thomas, you there? Can you guys hear him? Oh, you lost him too? Let's wait a minute, see if he comes back. The Russians got him. No, I would think it'd be the Ukrainians. Okay. Yeah, you never know. Anyway, it was great knowing Thomas. Don't you guys agree? Huh? I enjoy. I've been talking to him for a long time. Anyway, I hope he's okay. You know that the, you know that they didn't use one of those. All right. Anyway, guys, I lost him. It was probably my interruptions, my questions. So you guys having a good week, Hannah? Fred? Names I don't see a lot. There's Thomas. He came back.
Okay, that was interesting.
Yeah, wait, people were speculating that maybe the Russians got you or our
No, not the
administration.
Russians. No, I think it was NATO probably.
All right, so how do we wrap it besides owning gold through everything? Uh, you know, Europe, they're preparing for war, aren't they? Building
They are.
shelters
But
and
there's a grassroots opposition rising among the populace of Europe because they don't want war. But what I would say in addition to goal is to prepare to short, not today, not tomorrow, but maybe early next year. Because the markets it makes absolutely no sense that they go up. So there's a massive amounts of liquidity pumping into the markets.
yeah.
So prepare to short and buy oil in addition to gold. So I would say that is the
Oh, okay. All right. So short the market. I actually
not
think
now,
we're
not
getting,
not not yet, but maybe
well,
early.
I think within a week or two, we get an intermediate term top for a 10 to 15% correction.
Could
And then
be.
I agree with you, we melt up into the spring.
No, yeah, well, the year end, I would say. I don't
Year
know.
end is what you're looking for? Could
Yeah,
be.
well, no, but the thing is that there has been massive liquidity inflows from China in October, from mid-October till January, which have usually
Okay.
carried the market. So, yeah, but the problem with the stock market bubbles is that you really never know when they burst, and we're definitely in one now. So, yeah, but
Yeah.
when what comes to liquidity, it can go further from here. But with the geopolitical thing in Europe, there is really nothing much you can do just to wait and see. But I would not invest a dime to Europe at this point. Not anywhere. Not in UK. Not in anywhere. Don't invest in Europe. So
Yeah.
that's the main thing I think to understand that Europe is a complete mess. It's a political, economical, psychological, and military mess at the current time. It's really
Because they never federalized.
well. I don't think federalization it's we have countries that whose history spans for 3,000 years.
Right.
You cannot. How do you federalize that?
Yeah,
And
that's true.
the structure of the European Union is much more stringent than you have in the US. We don't Countries don't have that much say than the states of the US have
Yeah.
a say in the federal planning. So it's been
Not anymore.
it's a bit like a Soviet Union from the get-go. So the EU, either they have to keep it together by force, and I mean internal forces and external threats, or then it will break up at some point.
Okay. How do you explain the DAX at new highs with all these industries closing
I don't.
in Germany?
It's the military industrial complex, possibly the Rhine metal and those. We haven't looked into those, but it's probably the defense industry that is pushing the indexes higher.
Okay.
Not sure, but that we know that the car makers and steel makers and everybody's collapsing there. But
Okay. Last question. The Russians have been showing the Chinese how to parachute tanks from an airplane.
I haven't heard that. But okay,
I saw the video. Okay,
okay.
so the Japanese don't have a big paratrooper. They're training paratroopers for them.
Mm.
And so when does China make their move? First of all, China said they can't afford for that. China doesn't want the war to end,
Mhm.
do they? Between Russia, in Russia, they don't
What,
want the war to
what,
end because it keeps their, our attention spread between the Middle East and Europe.
probably.
Isn't this
Yeah,
their opening to do something?
it is an opening, and I read like two lines of I haven't specialized in the South China Sea or the Taiwan question, but they're like one group of analysts I follow. They are basically saying that China could invade at any moment, and the
Right.
others are saying that no, they don't want to do that. I'm starting to lean towards that China can do it at any moment. The preparations are so massive, but it will probably come when the moment is just right. Something happens in the Middle East or something. It's something that ties the hands of the US, and then they
Okay.
will move in because
Let me
yeah.
let me give you a couple of time windows during the year to watch. That would be October and April, and that's when the Straits of Taiwan are the calmest
Okay.
for an amphibious operation.
It could be. I was just checking. There was a few messages here who said that they're going to hit Iran probably, and then China would have communicated that their army is ready by 2027. Sorry, I
Yeah.
didn't hear you. I was checking the messages. So
Oh, that's okay.
could you repeat?
Yeah, that the time for China to go is when the Taiwan Straits are pretty rough seas most of the year. But April and October is when they're the calmest, I've
Okay.
read. And that would be the most opportune time because they're not just going to drop tanks from airplanes.
Airplanes.
They've been practicing amphibious invasions for years.
Yeah.
So that's when the sea would be most
Okay. So
accommodative.
it's either now or in April. So
Yeah.
we very little time or some time.
Yeah, so April makes sense. I know a lot of guys are looking for a high in the market in April of 26,
Could
the
be.
end of this bull market.
Could be.
So it was great catching up with you, Thomas.
Let me add one more thing. What I hear from
Sure.
Finland, that the rumors that this country, or the facilities they are building for the 15 bases they gave the US soldiers, they would be ready in a year. So for a war, I mean.
The bases they're building, who's building?
In Finland, that
Oh, I see.
which we gave to the US control under the DCA, the Defense Cooperation Agreement. The
Yeah.
rumors are that they would be ready in a year or a year and a half.
Hmm.
So
So that
if everything can blow up, if China starts to, let's say there's going to be another go for Iran in the, it could be even April. If it doesn't come by the year and it comes by early next year, China moves into Taiwan, NATO starts its operation against Russia, and within a year we are submerged in a global war. I think that's the worst case scenario, probably.
it is.
Yeah, but then okay, yeah.
All right.
But
Anyway, say something to cheer me up now.
it's a beautiful day here in Helsinki.
Not bad in
No.
Cali.
I mean, the positive thing is that people are waking up, even in
Yeah.
Europe, to this threat, and maybe we get a counter force for peace before anything of this kind happens. So that's the positive thing. I'm hopeful, very in a small way, but still hopeful.
Okay.
You satisfied
Yeah.
now? You satisfied now?
Yeah. Well, you know what? We all need to hope. Hope is
Yeah.
the oxygen in our lives,
Yeah.
but the carbon monoxide in our investing.
That's a
All
very
right.
yeah.
So
That's a very good quote. Yeah.
don't get in the market and hope.
No,
Have a plan for an out if you're wrong.
that's
So
true.
buddy, great talking to you.
Yeah.
Probably talk to you next year.
Yeah. Well, you proposed me
Oh,
time, and I wanna thank the commentators. Oh, the BRICS outlook. Okay, that's still missing.
yeah,
The BRICS outlook. I think, like I said, I think I tried to answer it. I think
yeah.
that if President Trump continues with this trade war, BRICS will continue to grow stronger. And they have, I think India has lost faith to the West. Iran has lost faith naturally, and China and Russia. So I think it's a
India was a big loss because
it was a stupid thing.
huge.
That was so stupid.
Yeah.
So, but unless the BRICS fall into this internal fighting, I think it will grow stronger. Yeah, and Trump has lost the global South. That's for sure. Okay, but thank you.
All of this stuff. Well, you know what? There's only one solution I have after an interview like this. I have to sing.
You have to sing.
I have to sing.
Okay, please do.
If you're worried and you can't sleep, just count your blessings instead of sheep, and you'll fall asleep counting your blessings.
That was very nice. You could have an career in singer entertainer.
Yeah, well, kind of an entertainer.
Yeah.
I can't trade worth a damn, so I think I'm going to go on tour. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, I'm looking for groupies.
Yeah.
Here's my phone number. All right, Thomas.
Yeah.
Take care, my friend.
Thanks. You too.
All right. We'll talk soon.
It was a pleasure.
All right. Everyone have a great day. Today is Thursday. We'll wrap it up tomorrow. Okay, Fred, we'll do something. Remember, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. Adios, everyone. See you tomorrow. You could join the team in 10 minutes on the morning edge. Adios.